Shalom, truth seekers. So, just wanted to share something real quick that I think the Creator may have shown me this evening. But, in the book of Enoch, it talks about how the sun starts off the year. And in this translation, it says, in the first month of the year, the sun is in the major gate. And this is the fourth among 6 openings. And in another translations, it talks about, again, in the first month, in the great portal, which is the fourth, those 6. So, I mean, there's something special about the fourth gate being a great portal, and it never really occurred to me kind of what that difference was talking about. But tonight, I think, like I said, I think there's really a benefit to doing hands-on stuff. Like I see that, in all the instructions of the Almighty, like a lot of them, like the Moed, it's a rehearsal. You're hands-on learning. Even the sacrifices, they were hands-on learning, shadows of the heavenly thing, but vivid reminders of, the true sacrifice that would come one day, but really hands-on learning. And, I find, as I put Genesis 1:14 into action and just allow the luminaries to be the timepieces of the Creator, just watching them kind of answers questions about how time works. But for those of you who do pay attention to Enoch or think there's anything to the luminary section of Enoch, let me share with you what I realized this evening. So Enoch calls he calls it the fourth great portal, and like I said, that's never really meant anything to me until I guess this evening when I started drawing it out, like hands-on. Again, I was just getting my hands on, and I was looking and I was working with it, and all of a sudden, I guess it kind of helps to look at things rather than just read it. But let me explain what's happening. So we'll jump back to this picture, and this is data I've been collecting, a new method I tried this year, this spring, where I took pictures of the constellation of Orion. Like I took a few pictures of the constellation of Orion at night, and so that's what these 3 red stars are. And essentially I took like 4 or 5 pictures as it moved across the night sky, and what that did for me was that allowed me to find the approximate location of the celestial equator. And then from the same exact camera mount position, I would take pictures of the sun through my solar filter, like, at different times of the year, and you can see the sun's proximity to the celestial equator over the course of the year. And I believe it's this north-south movement that Enoch is talking about. And so you can see the compass and the direction we're kind of looking. So the path of the sun is obviously east to west. So that's kind of the trajectory of the sun each day as it moves across the sky, or the stars at night as they move across the sky. But the sun and the moon, but we'll just focus on the sun right now, but the moon is doing this. It obviously moves east to west every day, but it's slowly shifting north and south over the course of the year as well. So, and during the spring it was really close to the celestial equator, and then during the summer it's like farthest away from the celestial equator, and then for the fall it comes back, and then for the winter it's way down here somewhere. And it's that north-south movement that gives us the seasons, the solar seasons. And I'll be making a couple more videos this evening about that in a minute. If you think your calendar has something to do with solar months, then it'll be important to pay attention to this. But so what I've done is, so keep in mind, it's the north-south movement. It's the position of the sun with proximity to the celestial equator, this middle line of heaven. And as Enoch describes it, it's portals 3 and 4. So that's what this is that you're looking at here. I've just kind of drawn out some portals to drop over this picture, and so that's what I got here. And just to kind of roughly give you an idea of what I think Enoch is talking about, this 3rd and the 4th portal are straddling the celestial equator. It's like the middle point of heaven. And the 6th portal reaches, the sun is traveling through these portals. It's obviously traveling east to west, like through the portal this way. But in addition, each solar month, it's jumping a little bit north and then a little bit south, and it's that north-south shifting that gives us the solar seasons. But what I realized tonight is the fourth great portal that Enoch talks about. I never really knew why. I never really understood why it was called the fourth great portal. But as I was drawing this out and thinking about it tonight, I realized through all the sundial data that I've collected that the sun's progression, the north-south shifting of the sun, is it is more, I might have said that backwards, but I'm just thinking about a previous video. I think maybe I said it backwards, I'm not sure. But the movement, I believe, is that little north-south shifting of the sun that you see, like each day and each solar month and each season as it's shifting up and down through these portals with respect to the celestial equator. The movement is actually more movement as the sun gets close to the celestial equator. If I'm thinking about this right, please feel free to chime in, but I think that's what it was. But like I said, I've been collecting sundial data, and I've been watching how much the shadows progress each day, both with small and large sundials, and also with like this picture data here. But if you can understand what I'm talking about, like the amount of movement from one day to the next. So here's a little cluster of data where I was able to take pictures of the sun, like I think almost every day. So let's see. Okay, so this one was the 19th, and then this one a little higher was the 20th, and then this one a little higher was the 22nd. So at its most extreme, right here near the celestial equator, I think the sun's jumping almost roughly half a diameter of the circle of the sun. But by the time it gets way out here, the sun's movement is very, very short, like the progression north to south. And that's why it's kind of really challenging, especially with a short sundial, to try and confirm a solstice event or the longest or shortest days of the year, because the movement is so itty-bitty as it gets out towards the extreme up here and the extreme down here. But from what I'm seeing, the movement is much more substantial here. And like I said, I've done that with a taller sundial, and I've kind of done the math. I don't know if it's in here or not. No, I don't think it's in here. But if you check out some of my other videos, like I was using a 200-foot tall sundial, and I saw how much movement there was over the course of a year. And it just, the amount of ground that the shadow would progress in the north-south direction, it had to be moving a lot more, it seemed. Close to the celestial equator, and I don't know exactly why that is, but what that has to do with Enoch is, the solar months are all equal, and this is not exactly to scale, but I just did it this way to kind of give the visual on this. But the solar months, according to Enoch, are all equal. They're 30 days, but it's just that it takes, because the sun is moving faster when it's close to the celestial equator for whatever reason. Like I said, I've seen this in the data I've collected, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to double check, but someone go ahead and chime in on that if they doubt that. But, and if you Google pictures of like those figure eights, like I forgot what they're called, anemolas or whatever, if you look closely at the ones that have dates on them, I think you'll be able to see what I'm saying. Like the sun is jumping more substantially near the celestial equator, kind of near the middle intersection point of that figure eight pattern. But out at the tops of the figure eights, where the tops of these portals are, it's a much smaller movement. It's harder to see. But the solar months are supposed to be the same, and the solar seasons, I believe, are supposed to be the same. It's just that the movement is, it's moving faster as it's near the celestial equator, and it's like the slowest out here. So what that ends up meaning is the portal sizes are different, because it's the same amount of time, but the sun is just moving faster in this portal, and so this portal it has to be bigger than this portal and bigger than this portal, because the progression is it's moving the fastest around here, but solar months are the same, and Enoch describes the solar months as, you know, the amount of time it spends in this portal and this portal and this portal and so on and so forth. So, I mean, all of a sudden, like I said, that just kind of all of a sudden made sense, because Enoch calls the fourth portal, and I suppose the third portal too, but the fourth portal is one of the quote-unquote great or major portals. It is bigger than most of the other portals. It's the biggest of all the portals. It's same size as Portal 3, I think, but nonetheless, it is the biggest, and so it is accurate and correct for Enoch to call it the great or major portal. So I just wanted to share that as food for thought as we continue to try and understand our Creator's times. But that was an interesting one that just jumped out at me this evening. So think about that. Let me know your thoughts, and stay tuned. I'll be talking more about solar months and solar seasons and the upcoming holy days in the next video, which I will be trying to post tonight. So shalom, and may Abba bless as you continually seek out His truth in love with a pure heart.